start with comparing fractions, okay? So this is very similar to what we were doing before we left school when we were just comparing normal numbers, okay? So we'll start off super, super easy, and you guys don't need to write this down. This is all just gonna be, this part right here is gonna be very simple, so you don't need to write any of this down. So let's say I have 12 and I have 13, right? Super simple. I want to see, is 12 greater than 13? Is it less than 13? Or is it equal to 13, right? Remember, your alligator mouth always wants to point and eat up the number that is bigger, right? So this one's very easy for us. We know that 13 is greater than 12, or 12 is less than 13. Thumbs up if that makes sense. Okay, we started to do this with much bigger numbers this year, right? We would have had maybe something like 1,245. Is this greater than, less than, or equal to 1,254, right? And this is where it got a little bit more difficult for us, where we had to see, okay, which number is actually bigger. So we would start from our greatest place value. We can see they both have 1,000, right? It's equal so far. They both have 200s, but then we start to see a change right here, right? We have different tens values. We only have 4 tens here, and we have 5 tens over here. So that automatically tells us we know 1,245 is less than 1,254. Thumbs up if you are with me so far. Okay, so now we're going to get started on how we do this with fractions. And this can be a little bit more difficult for us because we don't really have a place value that we're looking at. Because when we're talking about fractions, we're talking about a part of a whole, right? So right here is our whole. My circle is not as perfect as it was when I got it that one time in the classroom. I'm very sad. But let's say we're talking about fourths, right? Right here, my whole has been broken up into 4 pieces. So if I were to shade one of these pieces, right, this is 1/4. What makes this difficult for us when we're comparing this to another fraction is we might be given a fraction that has a different denominator, right? So say I have, now I'm talking about eighths, right? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces that my whole is broken up into. And let's say I'm talking about 3 of them, right? This is difficult for me to kind of see now, okay, which one is greater and which one is less than, because my pieces are different sizes. They're not all equal sizes. So what I need to do to my fractions is I need to make them equal sizes, which is very simple, okay? So we're gonna use these 2 fractions that I'm talking about right now to see, okay, which one is bigger, 1/4 or 3/8, okay? So let's show this. We had 1/4 and we have 3/8 over here. I need to figure out, is 1/4 greater than, oh, sorry, is it less than, greater than, or equal to 3/8, okay? And like I said earlier, I want to make my fraction into equal pieces, okay? Remember, the denominator, that tells me how many pieces I'm talking about. So right here, I was talking about, sorry, I was pointing and I realized you guys can't see my pointing. Right here, I'm talking about 4 pieces. And over here, I'm talking about 8 pieces. Are those equal? No, those aren't equal, right? 4 and 8 are different numbers, so they're not equal pieces. But I want to see if there's a number that I can make that both of these are equal to. Luckily, this one's very, very simple for me. I know I can change my fourths and make these into eighths. Okay, I want you to think to yourself, what do I need to do to my fourths to make them into eighths? What are you noticing about 4 that you can do to it to make it into an eighth? And thumbs up if you have an idea on what you could probably do. Okay, so again, this is kind of hard because I can't take questions or answers from all of you in between. So I'm just going to kind of explain my thinking on what I would do to make this into eighths. So I'm going to get rid of this screen right now and we'll come back to it. But I have 1/4. Okay, I need to figure out a way to make this into an equivalent fraction, but now I want it to have 8 as the denominator. Okay, what do I do to 4? What do I multiply 4 by to get 8? Show me with your fingers. What do you do to 4? What do you multiply 4 by to get 8? Nice job. I multiply it by 2, right? 4 times 2 is 8. And remember, whatever I do to the bottom, I always have to do the same to the top. You can't just pick and choose what you want to do. You have to do it to the top. So I'm going to now multiply my top by 2 also to get an equivalent fraction. 1 times 2 is what? Show me with your fingers. Nice job. So now I have 2/8. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my original question. I had 1/4 and 3/8. I knew once I changed this into eighths, I had 2/8. Now this is simple for me because I know if I had a circle drawing of this and a circle drawing of this, let's see what those would look like. Okay, so here's my circle, here's my circle. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here I have 2/8. 1, 2. And over here I have 3. 1, 2, 3. Which one is greater? Hold up either 2 for 2/8 or a 3 for 3/8. Or which one has more pieces? Hold up a 2 for 2/8 or a 3 for 3/8. Nice job. My 3/8 is greater, right? 3 pieces is bigger than 2 pieces. Okay, so let's try this with you guys. Okay, I'm gonna give you a fraction and I want you to see, or I'm gonna give you 2 fractions. I want you to see if you can figure out which is either greater, which one is less than, or are they equal? Are they equivalent fractions? Okay, so let's do 4/6. Is this greater than, less than, or equal to? Let's do 1/3. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a little starting point. We want to make our denominators the same. Okay, so take like 1 minute to see if you can solve. How can I make my denominators the same? All right, raise your hand and I will unmute you. What would be the easiest denominator that we should have so that they're both equal? Raise your hand if you know. Casey.
You would multiply 3 times 2 to get 6, but keep 4, 6 denominator the same.
So you're saying I should find a way to make both of my denominators 6?
Yeah,
Okay, well, is this one already a 6 for me?
yeah,
Is this popping up for you guys? Are you seeing this?
yeah, I see it.
Do you see the arrow I just made?
Yeah,
Okay, for some reason it's not popping up on my screen, but that's fine. Okay, so this one's already a 6, right? So I don't need to do anything to this one. But this one over here, I need to change this into a 6th. So let's do that. I have 1/3, and I want to make this into a 6th. Casey, what do I do to 3 to make it a 6? What do I multiply it by?
2.
And multiply it by 2. Do I have to do the same thing to the top?
Yes.
I'm going to multiply this by 2. I have 1 times 2. Everyone show me with your fingers what is 1 times 2. Nice job. 2, right? And now I'm going to go back to my original problem. I had 4/6 and 2/6, right? All I need to look at is my numerators now, right? I know my pieces are the same size, but I want to see how many pieces do I have this one and how many pieces do I have this one. What is bigger, 4 pieces or 2 pieces? Show me with your fingers. What is bigger, 4 pieces or 2 pieces? 4 pieces is bigger than 2 pieces. Great job. So 4/6, 4 pieces of 6, or 4 of 6 pieces is greater than 2 of the 6 pieces that our whole is broken into. Okay. Any questions on that? Right? What if we have something that looks like this?